Hey there, I'm Guri, and today we are going to be making a Spelunky 2 tier list video. This time on items. I have seen a lot of item tier list videos going around, as well as enemies, bosses, areas, stuff like that. Tier lists are generally really fun to me. I like talking about, ranking stuff in games since it's kind of arbitrary to an extent. But it's really cool and really fun, and this game has a lot of really interesting, awesome, well-designed items. Even the bad items are fun, really. So yeah, let's get started. I have assorted the tiers from S, A, B, C, D, and Parachute. I do not like the Parachute. We will be getting to that shortly. And let's just get started with what I believe to be one of the best items in the game, Vlad's Cape. I don't know if it's the best. I don't know, but I would be willing to say it's one of the best. There is almost no downside to it. Really, the only downside is that you don't get as much mobility as a jetpack, which has a downside. So I really don't see that as a negative point. I think the double blood it gives you is insane. The mobility it gives you is crazy. It's just such a fun and awesome item. Vlad's is really good. Next up, another S tier that I think everybody would agree on is necessary for every single Cosmic Ocean run, as well as, I guess, just most runs in general, unless you're doing a really short casual run or a speed run. Kapala, not much to be said about it. Incredibly good. I don't think that's controversial at all. Next up, and this is a hard one. I'm going to put Spring Shoes in almost godlike. They are probably my second favorite item in the game, next to the jetpack. But, oh my god, they're just not consistent enough to get every run, whereas Vlad's Cape you can get every run, so I think that's fair to put Spring Shoes there. Next up is Normal Rope. Super useful. Super useful. I've always thought it was weird that there wasn't a bigger version of a rope pile like there are for bombs. I just thought it was weird. Like, maybe ropes... I think the reason why is that in Spelunky, you're going down as opposed to up, so in theory you should be using more bombs than ropes. So it makes sense in that regard, but I don't know. I'd like to see a big rope pile. I think it'd be cool. Likewise, the bomb bag. You know what? The bomb bag's actually going to go in almost godlike because you can get it from Quillback and a couple other sources. Well, yeah, Quillback and crates, I guess, but they're still... You get them quite frequently. They're really good. I'd say they're very good, and you get them enough to make it worth it. Next up is the Clone Gun. This is going to go into Feels Like Christmas Morning. Again, not very controversial. Clone Gun is incredible. It's a shame that our next item on the list is not so incredible. Elixir. It is quite bad. The use cases for it, although it is effective at what it does, curing curse and poison, immediately killing yourself in Duat for the intended casual run without chill and skip is a weird design decision, and the HP really isn't that much that you get from it. It's okay, but it's... I don't know. I have mixed opinions about the Elixir. It's a weird item. I don't think it's very good, though. True Crown. Almost godlike. Pretty self-explanatory. It gives you a bunch of bombs constantly, and the downside is every 22 seconds you teleport. So it's quite dangerous. Although in theory it should be fine because you make enough room for yourself with the bombs. Very, 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 very cool item. One of the coolest items in the game to me. What a cool idea. I just really like it. Also a very good item. And I think some people will be surprised that I'm not putting this in S. But the amount of runs I've seen of Cosmic getting cleared and speed runs without paste are more than I thought. Paste isn't as essential, I think, as most people think it is in this game, if you do the chill and skip consistently with Jetpack or Vlad's Cape. That being said, there's no denying it's incredibly good and powerful, and I want it every run if I can, but if I don't have it, I'm not gonna cry about it, really. Next up is the Skeleton Key. The Skeleton Key, man. I can't believe I'm doing this, but it's above the Elixir to me, because at least it's convenient if you get it in a block or I guess in a shop for free, if you rob a shopkeeper. It's kind of good that way. It makes going to Vlad, if you're going Alien Compass route, a little bit more convenient. That's about it. Not a very interesting item, considering there's not many locked doors that you can go in easily, but it's alright. Now, alien compass. Oh, man. Oh, man. I want to put this in Feels Like Christmas Morning, but it's almost godlike to me. The thing is, I've just seen so many runs that are cleared without this thing. So I'm not too convinced that it's actually that good. As opposed to just getting more resources and using your brain to remember the exit. I really don't think it's that hard. That being said, it is a really cool item, though. I mean, I really like it. It does have its use, obviously. It's quite good. Not quite godlike to me, though. What is godlike? Descended from the gods themselves, I guess. The Ankh. I don't know. Is this the best item in the game? Or is it Vlad's Cape? It's kind of a toss-up to me. Or maybe it's the Kapala. That's kind of what S tier is, right? I don't know. These are all kind of the best item in the game, really. Not much to say about if that's invaluable in a roguelike. Yeah. Jetpack. Oh, jetpack. I might upset some people with this, but you're almost godlike, man. Your downside is just too much for me. You know? Just relying on not getting Neo Babylon is not good enough. And, obviously you could just be good enough to not get hit in Neo Babylon, but it's quite hard. It's easier said than done, you know? Obviously, the jetpack gives you great mobility. It's so much fun. It's probably my favorite item in the game in terms of fun factor. But the downside is a little too high for me. Maybe if it was like 2 hits or 3 hits or 4, because Spelunky really likes the number 4 until it exploded, would be quite a bit better. And I don't think too hard of a nerf, or maybe it is. That kind of sounds outlandish now that I said it out loud. But yeah, jetpack, I think it deserves to be an A. I don't think it's quite S tier. Telepack. Telepack tends to get crapped on a lot, I feel like. People tend to put this item down a bit, but I think it's super useful, actually. Especially, and obviously for speed runs. And I think in the future we're going to see some really cool runs with the telepack. I would love to do Cosmic Ocean with the telepack. It seems so much fun. In fact, I might start doing that just for funsies. The Royal Jelly. This is almost godlike. I mean, it's not quite a Kapala, so you can't heal from killing enemies, but hey, 8 health, I think it is. Am I forgetting wrong? I think it's 8 health. And it's what you get from sacrificing 1 damsel, or 8 favor points. You get it constantly. You can also find it in Twin Shop. Really good item. And now for probably the most controversial, I think, opinion I'm going to get on here from... And let me tell you, I was a Climbing Glove hater for a long time until I learned the chill and skip. And then I fell in love with the Climbing Gloves and realized that it was really good to not have to spend resources. Well, rope, really. It saves you a lot of rope. It helps you do the chill and skip. It's great for mobility. It is awkward to get used to, though, and it does kind of go against the movement of the game at first. But once you get used to it, I think it is an invaluable tool. It also resets Vlad's Cape's jump by attaching to a wall. It helps with jetpack stuff, too, if you don't want to waste your ammo as much climbing up the side of levels. It's just, I think the Climbing Gloves are really OP, honestly. But some people don't like the way they control. I used to be like that, so I understand why that would be a controversial opinion for some. Hoverpack. I was watching another tier list video, and it honestly... Oh, man. I think I'm going to put it in D. The thing is, my, like, midway point playing the game, I thought Hoverpack was okay for doing the Ankh save in Tide Pool. But now, there's really no point to do it for me anymore, because I can just do the chill and skip. And honestly, I just feel like most runs just don't do good with this thing on it. I mean, you can't really go super fast or be super mobile. It's okay, but I don't know. It's one of the weirdest items in the game. I kind of love it, but I kind of hate it. It's a weird amalgamation. On the other hand, the Power Pack I think is actually better than the Hover Pack. You get it earlier in the game, usually from a shop, so you could drop it off once you get to Volcana and get Vlad's Cape, or the jungle and get a jetpack. And I think it's really fun. I honestly would love to see 799 cleared with this thing. I think it's a cool item. Makes your whip feel so cool, man. You feel so powerful. That being said, it's obviously not as good as a jetpack or a hover pack if you're trying to do the skips. But yeah, I think because you have to spend less time with it, it's actually better. The plasma cannon. This thing is fantastic. It's basically just a bomb shooter as a gun with throwing gloves, basically. And yeah, it helps with score runs. People use it to blow up the whole level in score runs, and it's pretty cool. Pretty straightforward. The only downside is you can kill yourself with it, so that's not cool. The cape. The cape is super useful, but I think if you're going for serious runs, you're going to get a jetpack or Vlad's Cape more so. That being said, if you die in Cosmic Ocean and you see one of these, you probably change your opinion in a second and put it into Feels Like Christmas Morning, but in reality, I think it's pretty good, but just kind of okay. Not the most mobility ever, but enough. Tablet. Pretty much everything with the chain I'm going to get out of the way and put it into super useful. So let's put that. Let's put the Ushabti, the Ujat Eye, Excalibur. What else? We're missing one more. And lastly, the crowns. I honestly feel like these are all pretty much the same and they deserve to be here. Anything related to the chain is just kind of okay. It is more optimal if you're going for cosmic runs to do the chill and skip with either a jetpack or Vlad's Cape or a cape or nothing. I don't know. People are crazy. They can do it in all sorts of ways. However, for those who can't or don't want to, the chain isn't too bad to deal with, and these items can be decently useful in their own right. I think the only thing I'm going to move here, really, is the crown, because it makes shops a little bit cheaper. That's like, you know what, and you know what, never mind. I'm moving it back down. That's not even worth going into almost godlike for. Related to the chain, but obviously quite bad. Oh, geez, you know what? I think this is going into parachutes here. Parachute's not going to be alone. I cannot believe this. But the broken sword is literally useless. It is a machete, but you have to waste a clone gun shot on it. It's really just a novelty. Yeah, I don't know why this item even exists, to be honest. It's kind of weird. I kind of like the fact that it exists, though. So, you know what? You're going back up to rarely a good idea. Parachute, buddy. I think it's your time to shine. Let me explain why I hate this item. I think this item is absolutely the worst item in the whole game. I rarely think it has uses. The only time I could see it being useful is if you're a new player and you don't understand fall damage and you never really notice or care to protect yourself from fall damage, then sure, this item's useful. Otherwise, why spend money on it? It's just a cape for 2 seconds and then it goes away. It's a waste of gold. It can kill me at 768 in Cosmic Ocean because I was using a jetpack and I was falling through a level and it popped me up into the spikes on an Ice Caves level. I wish I had it recorded, but other people have had similar deaths due to it. It stinks. I really hate it. I think it's actively a hindrance to have on you. I avoid it at all costs. I hate the parachute. Bomb box. Almost godlike or godlike. I don't know. I'm gonna say Feels Like Christmas Morning because it really does. When you see these pop out of a crate, especially, you're like, this is the best day ever. This is the run. And then you proceed to fail right after that. Also almost godlike, the pickaxe. I'm sick of seeing this item because of the 3.978432 quadrillion times I've done the challenge in the jungle or volcano. But otherwise, in Cosmic Ocean, this item is a lifesaver. And it's really useful to have otherwise when you're platforming. It's too bad you have to carry around the bow, though, which is also going into the super useful category. I forgot about the bow earlier. Same thing, the bow with the same stuff with the other items. It's okay, I guess. It's used to get in the Cosmic Ocean. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty decent weapon, too. I mean, it does a lot of damage if you have the other tiny arrow and not the arrow of light. It still will take care of most enemies in 2 hits, but other than that, you pretty much want everything else above it instead of using that bow as a weapon. Now, the crossbow is also rarely a good idea. Honestly, if there was a tier between D and parachute, it would go there. I think this is also probably the second worst item in the game. I have never seen anybody use this. It feels kind of fun to use, but the arrow popping back at you always feels scary, and I don't know, it's weird. It's such a weird item, and it's not powerful enough to justify it. Plus, it's like 2 things you have to carry at once in a way. I don't like it. Don't like the crossbow. Eggplant crown. Eggplant crown is really sick. I think it's cool. Some people think it's quite bad. I'm going to pop the eggplant there with it as well. As a weapon, not the one you carry around. I really can't have 2 eggplants. Or, you know what? Yeah, I can. We'll just put the eggplant, the one that you carry, into rarely a good idea because it's just an eggplant. It doesn't do anything. But almost godlike would be the eggplants that you shoot from the eggplant crown. Those things are awesome, I think. Unless you have throwing gloves, those things make it kind of scary. But other than that, I think the eggplant is actually really good to just be able to take care of 3 hit enemies with one, effectively, a long-ranged whip. It's pretty cool. Plus, it's eggplant, so it's pretty cool and funny. I kind of have to put it there. The 4-leaf clover, super useful. This item gives you more time on the timer. That's pretty invaluable when you only have a 3-minute time limit. Boosting it to 5 minutes is really helpful. The turkey, this might be controversial too, but I think it's good but not great. 1 HP is decent, but once you are at a better level of the game, you stop taking a lot of damage in the early levels, like Volcana and the Dwelling, where turkeys are more likely to spawn, and the jungle too. I think that you get hit less and less through the Dwellings, so that this item, which appears mainly in the early game, isn't as good. That being said, it's still HP, so it's obviously useful, but I don't know. Turkey's just okay to me. Boomerang is also just okay to me. I know a lot of people in Cosmic Ocean swear by this item for blood farming. I guess also just having a long-range weapon is useful, but the way this item interacts with things is too much to track for me. It acts weird with the Sunken City blocks. It acts weird with the Sunken City maggots that pop out of the little green bubble thing. This item can be kind of dangerous. And when you're trying to escape frantically to a Cosmic Ocean exit after getting an orb, waiting for it to come back to you can also be kind of scary. So most of the time I actually avoid this. But I understand and recognize its fans, so it's going to go into C. The throwing gloves, they're pretty useful. I personally don't like having them, but I don't think I beat 799 with them on. Or did I? No, I got them halfway through it. And yeah, they're okay. They allow you to shoot items in a straight line. That's pretty valuable for sniping things and getting precise bombs with paste. But if you don't have paste, which happens more often than you like to think, it can be kind of a bummer to have. Machete, it's pretty good. It's decent in Cosmic Ocean. Gets rid of corpses. It's basically like the broken sword, except there's more chances for you to actually see it. Oh gosh, the idol, rarely a good idea. This is used for one side quest, gives you gold. There's literally nothing else to say about it. Unlike the actual idol, which is almost godlike, the gold value increasing every level is really great. It's pretty much guaranteed. Well, it has to spawn at least once in a world, right? So you're always guaranteed a decent chunk of gold. Yeah, it's pretty good, and it can be used as a weapon. The only real downside is the traps around it that you have to learn. And once you learn those, though, you're good to go. Unlike the Spirit Pot, that, you know what? The Curse Pot, you know what? It's going to go in the super useful. I was going to put it in good, not great, but I remembered the Gist Shop. So, I'd say it's pretty good. You get a good amount of gold, not nearly as much as the Idol for the scaling. But if you curse yourself, you can get into the Gift Shop. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty good. Not bad. The Web Gun, not much to say, you know. It's a joke item. It's just there to be a joke. It shoots cobwebs. It stinks. You can use it kind of like poor man's climbing gloves. That's the only novelty that I can really say about it. Freeze Gun. This is quite possibly my favorite projectile to use in the game. Projectile weapon. But you really don't have a chance to use it a lot. It's really fun though. It's good for robbing from shopkeepers. Doesn't get a lot of time to shine though. Freeze Gun. Change the game to make more Freeze Gun use, please. Wooden Shield and the Metal Shield. They're pretty much identical to me. I don't know when these have uses. I really don't. You're always carrying something in this game, and carrying the shield, you're protecting yourself from something that you can't attack back at. I think it's kind of weird. I don't know. These items rub me the wrong way. I don't like them. Spike Shoes. It doesn't make me feel like Christmas morning, but you can't do this game without the Spike Shoes, really. I mean, am I wrong? I think you need the Spike Shoes. You can, but whenever you have a run without spike shoes, you notice it, and you're like, oh, where are those things? So I think they have to go into Feels Like Christmas Morning. They're pretty much necessary for every run. The spectacles. I used to think these items were so bad until inevitably somebody told me that they made levels brighter. And even though dark levels aren't too scary to me, I think they're cool. And they're just nice to have. I don't know why I put them at the top. I'm going to put them at the bottom. Not that these are ordered, but if they were going to be anywhere, they'd probably be at the bottom of B tier. Teleporter. This is going to go into A. I think it's similar to the telepack. In theory, the telepack should be better, but I think everybody is used to the teleporter, and it tends to show up more, and it's easier to get, so not much to say about it. It's kind of just like a different telepack. These items are weird. I don't know. I don't speedrun, so I don't have much to say about them, but I recognize their usefulness. The camera. I've seen people say that the camera is okay, but once again, I think that you're carrying the bow 90% of the time, so I don't really have time to pick up a camera and use it ever. Similar to the shotgun, which has been nerfed so bad from Spelunky in terms of its use case. That bow, Chloe's bow and the arrow of light, they done messed up everything up, because it kind of shifts the balance unless you're going for all shortcuts and Tiamat. I think that's where you'd use other weapons, but for people doing Cosmic Ocean and into 799 speed runs, in the main meat of the game, like me, I just think the shotgun is okay. I'm gonna put it into good. I don't think it's quite rarely a good idea thinking about that when I see that, but it's just not that useful. I'd rather have a machete in most cases, honestly. The only real use the shotgun has is for killing shopkeepers, really, because most of the other time you're carrying a bow or in a level with enemies that reflect the shots back at you, like Neo Babylon. The compass is our second to last item here. The compass is super useful. Very good in speedruns, obviously, because it shows you the exit, and not so useful because it doesn't show you the exit in Cosmic Ocean. So overall, just kind of good for most of the game. And our last item. Good, not great. Anubis' Scepter. This item is really fun, and once you understand how it works, I don't think it's too scary, and it's very powerful. But, that being said, I'm still always scared while using it for some reason. And it's only used for a little bit before you go into the City of Gold, unless you choose to take it with you for some reason, through the ice caves in Neo Babylon. Which, now that I think about it, I should do that. That sounds fun. I think it being in C tier is a pretty fair placement for it, honestly. And that about does it. I don't think there's anything I'm going to change here. I'm quickly looking. I think everything is where it should be for me. The only thing I think I'm going to move is pace to the top. No. Pace is staying. I stand by my statements on pace. And finally, I actually think I'm going to put Royal Jelly into Feels Like Christmas Morning. Because when you get like 3 hired hands and an animal and sacrifice it onto and you get like 3 of those, oh, it feels good. It feels so good. And that about does it. I think that's a fair list, honestly. If you disagree with some of these placements, absolutely cool. Tell me about it in the comments. I want to hear people discuss about items. It's super, super fun to talk about the items in this game, like I had said previously. It is such a diverse item set, and some of the items are so unique and weird. Like I said, stuff like the hover pack, I think is kind of garbo, but it's so much fun to use at the same time. So it's very hard to rank these items in a way. If you're interested, I have my Twitch listed in the description down below. It's twitch.tv/gurizuri. I stream sometimes about mid-afternoon on weekdays. So if you want to watch me play some Spelunky, stop by sometime, have a chat, feel free. I would really appreciate it. Thank you guys once again for watching. Have a great one.